everybody, thank you again for joining me today on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. So today we're going to be diving into, from Bardstown Bourbon Company, this is going to be their Discovery Batch 4. So what exactly is this? So this is coming in at 115 proof or 57.5% ABV. Mash bill on this, of which I'll have on the screen right now, this is going to be a blend of 3 different mash bills, all ranging in age from 10, 13, upwards of 15 years. So really, really nice ages on all of these Kentucky straight bourbon whiskeys. And the MSRP on this was right around $130, of which I did get directly from the distillery when I was there a few weeks ago. So let's go ahead and dive into this. And again, these Discovery series batches are always very delicious. So I'm expecting this one to still kind of remain tried and true, and hopefully continue the tradition of being a really, really nice bourbon whiskey. So, all right, let's go ahead and we'll get into the review. Color-wise, as you can see, really nice, deep, rich kind of copper color. Again, move the whiskey around in the glass a little bit. Love to see some of the oils that are there, and this is really, really clinging really well. Again, these are all non-chill filtered, so it's going to help retain a lot of those kind of fatty acids, things along those lines, which will just hopefully translate over to the palate in terms of allowing it to be a little bit richer, a little more mouth coating, things along those lines. So, all right, let's get into the nose. So immediately, this nice, really deep, rich oak presence. It's not like that really tannic oak that you'll get. There's always this sweetness that's kind of just layered in there with that oak presence. Nice butterscotch on that. And then almost a little bit of like a dusty, funky oak that's there. And I guess that would probably be attributed to some of the older whiskey that's in here. So you've got stuff that's 13, 15 years. So you again, it's starting to pick up a little bit more of that age that's on this bourbon. Fantastic baking spices right away. A lot of that nutmeg, cinnamon, things along those lines. Great, like a vanilla buttercream, or almost even like a fresh like vanilla bean if you kind of strip it like directly from the bean itself. Yeah, more of that cinnamon kind of coming off on this one as well. Really nice, like kind of dark chocolate. This is more of an intense chocolate, more so than like a milk chocolate, which is a little more subtle. This is a little bit more of a pungent dark chocolate. Some espresso notes, more of like a coffee, something that's a little bit more refined. And then a little bit of like a graham cracker note. There's a little bit of like a layered honey in there as well. Maybe even some sweet tobacco. Again, the sweet tobacco for me would always generally be more of like a pipe tobacco, just because of the scent that you get a lot of times from a pipe tobacco, it being a little bit more sweeter, opposed to kind of more of like a cigar tobacco. Really nice dark fruits. The dark fruits for me, as this opened up a little bit more, really started to kind of shine, move it around in the glass a little bit. Those dark fruits, you know, a little bit more of like a plum, maybe even like a darker cherry. Yeah, really, really, really nice nose. It's very, I guess how I would describe it is very rich, very pleasant. It's very inviting, I'll tell you that. So we're going to find out right now, and let's see how this bad boy tastes. Cheers. Get another sip, get the palate coated a little bit more. Yeah, again, immediately very similar to the nose. That really rich, like deep, sweet oak presence is there. Nice little Kentucky hug that it gives you as well. Again, a little bit of that dusty funk that you get, that I got on the nose before. More than likely due to some of the ages of the bourbons that are in this. You start to get a little bit more of that older kind of dusty, funky profile. Again, it's not off-putting. Really just really enhances the overall experience so far. So Really nice tobacco note there. Again, this could go either way, whether it's a cigar or pipe tobacco. There's just this general overall tobacco note. We get a little bit of a drying aspect, maybe slight touch of like a leather aspect as well. And then something else I didn't get really as much on the nose, but I'm picking up a little bit of like a citrus, more, I guess, a little bit of like an orange citrus, but there's still this little bit of a tanginess to it. So maybe that's some of like a lemon zest or something along those lines. Yeah, again, a little bit more of that graham cracker honey aspect kind of coming out in this a little bit too. Really nice caramel notes, more of like a fresh caramel. Not like, well, yeah, I guess I'll just stick with kind of a more of a fresh caramel aspect to it. Yeah, the citrus that I wasn't really getting on the nose is a little bit more present on the palate. Maybe even a touch of mint there as well. Still those dark fruits. The dark fruits are really nice. It's come in late for me on both the nose and the palate, but they're definitely there. It's more of a refined dark fruit, like more of like what you'd get like in something that's concentrated. It's definitely there. It just came in a little bit late for me. I love that sweet oak aspect that's there. That's layered with some of the sweetness, that nice baking spice that's there as well. Very mouth coating. Fantastic bourbon. I mean, it's a great sipping bourbon, one that would be absolutely incredible. Sit down, take your time with it, let this thing open up a little bit. Generally speaking, probably pull a few more flavors from it as it opens up, get a little bit of air time. Typically what happens with things that are a little bit more on the complex side of things, an aged bourbon, especially with a little bit of proof, let them open up, kind of reward you with you know, just a little bit more on the palate, so to speak. Yeah, definitely some of that graham cracker that's there. A little bit of a honey note on that as well. Maybe even a little bit on the back end, a touch of like a black pepper. And maybe that's just part of the oak aspect, but there's a little bit of a black pepper note more on the finish part of it than anything. It's an incredible bourbon. I mean, it's one of those ones that I would say, you know, every year when they're releasing these, you know, it is worth, you know, worth is subjective, of course, but for me, you know, this is one of those bourbons that, you know, I like to try to find, you know, a few of them if possible, or one of them from each batch. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to get batch 3. I've got a sample of that, but rather than try to do like a comparison, we'll keep it a little bit more singular to this one as well. This one's probably a little bit more readily available as of the making of this video, which is just kind of the end part of March. So maybe there's still some of these around of 2021. So, but if we kind of get into the finish part of it, it's a nice long finish. Again, those baking spices, that graham cracker, that sweet oak presence is definitely there. Yeah, still a little bit of that like lingering citrus, both, you know, orange and maybe even a little bit of a lemon zest that's there. But overall, really, really nice, well-balanced bourbon. And the nice part is that those ages are definitely shining with this one. So just when you get a chance to try this, just don't rush it. You know, allow it, pour it, allow it to open up a little bit, take your time, and that time will reward you definitely with this pour. So it's hands down an excellent bourbon, and it's just very typical of kind of what it is that Bardstown Bourbon Company is doing these days, where there's so much quality, craftsmanship, you know, there's great people involved, and that's all really translating, you know, into the bottle and the bourbons that they're producing. So with that being said, do not hesitate. If you do see this, buy it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with this one. Happy with this. So with that being said, again, this is the Bardstown Bourbon Company's Discovery Batch 4. Again, if you can find it, buy it. With that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning into another one of my reviews. Greatly appreciate all of the support. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can through my Patreon page, which I'll have linked in the description below. That will also get you as part of the Mash and Journey whiskey club that will kind of involve barrel picks. So if that's of interest, make sure you check that out as well. Merchandise, I'll have that linked in the description below as well. If you'd like to help, if you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places at My Bourbon Journey. So with that being said, again, thank you so much. And remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.